Welcome back to Oblivious Maximus. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Searle. Join me, as always, is...
Aaron Osborne, the other host of the podcast.
How are you, Aaron?
Fucking awesome.
First one of the year.
Yep. We took a big break.
Big break.
We had grand intentions of doing heaps of them and did none.
Hey, this goes up for free. So there you go. But joining us today is the fellas from Near Death Experience. Give it up for Gio Nathan, everyone.
You really stumbled over that name.
Yeah, I've been at home all day. Gio, I've actually been thinking about a new nickname for you.
Go on.
The Shape. Geo.
Do you mean like geometric?
Geometric. Yeah. What do you reckon of The Shape?
You reckon it'll stick?
I don't know. If not,
Gatsby, if that helps.
If not, I'm going to use it for a band.
I'm happy to try it out.
Happy to try it out. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Return guest, Nathan. Couldn't be
Great to be back.
Yeah. This guy loves being in bands, as I've been teasing him on the internet about, as I do too.
Yep.
What's the count at now?
I don't even know. Who knows?
I posted that on something that you posted on the internet, and I got a lot of responses that validated my posting of it.
Hopefully not negative.
No negative.
Good.
Or love heart react.
I'm very insecure.
Love heart react. I think I said this guy loves being in bands, and then got a good lot of responses. So now I've taken to every time you post something, posting that, and it's.
Yeah. I only post when I do a new band, so you guys can. Wait.
So only every other week.
Yeah. You don't have to wait too long.
So this band, though, the one that you're both in, not just Nathan's other bands.
No, isn't this just the Nathan show?
It's the Nathan show.
Appearing at
we had to get you back. Gio was in town, and we just figured he could come along.
Good to be
here. When did Near Death Experience start?
Midway through last year?
Nah, 23.
2 years ago. We're in 25 now.
Yeah, it was we started recording in 2023, but it was like a totally different lineup.
Yeah.
And then the singer fell through because he was just unsure if it's what he wanted to do. So then I was like, well, I know George can sing, so I thought I'd give him a crack. And then we did the demo, and he recorded the demo. I wasn't there, and the vocals were just like, they were good, but they weren't right.
Yeah.
So then I just took his material, sang it, and said, do it like this. And then he just fucking blew me out of the water. So, yeah.
So what was your initial attempt? Just yelling or what?
Yeah. A lot more yelling. A lot less of the
finding notes.
Yeah,
crooning.
Exactly. I mean, it's not something I'd ever done before in a hardcore band.
Yeah.
And it was just like Nathan was just like, no, we should really try and I guess refine it.
Yeah.
To be a little bit more than like what it turned out to be, and yeah.
And how was obviously you're
A pest?
Yeah. So you got yourself in the lab and went, hey, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I just said, don't take this the wrong way, but I'll show you what I want you to do within this realm. And then he just like smashed it. I was just like, my ego was like deflated, but also I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want it to be. So
there's a version out there with you on it.
Yeah, only private is. Yeah.
So
And that's going to be at the end of this episode.
Yeah. No, I just use GarageBand and a shitty mic, and
Yep.
I mean, that's just to get the point across.
Yeah. Nice.
But George is also, when he was younger, sang in like a choir and stuff. So I knew he could sing. I knew he could sing because when it's like when people say, oh yeah, I was just fucking around like doing, like holding long notes and crooning, and then you're like, well, actually you can do it because you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
So that's what he did.
Well, it's much harder to maintain that. Like, have you been like practicing to like warm your voice up and things like that, or is he just kind of belting it out?
I think with this band, Near Death Experience, I started doing a lot more like warming up and and just preparing for recording and for shows.
Yeah.
Because there was a little bit more to it than just getting out there and just yelling as much as I could, which I've done with.
I think I was very impressed when you played a show the other day. We were talking and you were like, I have to go and warm up, which is the sign of a person who cares way more than me about live music. Or maybe just the quality of your voice.
Well, quality of the voice, and then, for 3 or 4 days afterwards, if I don't warm up, I
You'd be dead.
can't talk at all. So, yeah.
Well, isn't there that thing around the singer from Panic at the Disco? His voice is just fucked now because he's just doesn't look after it. And apparently all the shows they play now, it's just like this raggedy
Disastrous
man yelling. But
Can't be any worse than Guns N' Roses.
let's play
Sounds
some
like the old
reggae.
man from Family Guy.
I feel like that's the thing. Like I feel like every episode we talk to someone who sings in a band, we're immediately like, how do you do it? Because you can sing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really practiced it for very long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the classic like, oh, you do this thing heaps and you get better at it. Shocking.
It,
Yeah.
it definitely lays dormant though. Like,
Yes.
if you just were to tap out for 5 years and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to do it again. It's there. And you just have to train the muscles.
Well, talking to a mate of mine at the show the other day, we were talking about, I was like, I sort of have this small inkling to maybe do music again. And I was like, I've never really done a heavy band. I don't think, my voice just doesn't suit it. I can sing. Like, I don't think I can really yell. And I think I'd feel a bit silly as well. I don't know.
I think that's like a perfect opportunity to do something that is completely different.
Yes.
Like-
that's I was like, and also like playing to your strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could do a heavy band and just have this killer voice. And it's people like, fuck yeah.
All right, I'll start putting posters up.
Also doing I'm terrible at this, but talking between songs, I just clam up. But like being able to public speak, you have to have like a way of, when you're doing comedy, you have to be able to project your voice in a certain manner.
Yeah, and I think I forget that I can kind of do that. Particularly like, get to, our old work and people will be like, do you want to speak in front of these people? And I'll be like, yeah, no worries. Most people would be like, don't make me do that.
Yeah.
But that comes from just doing it heaps. Because I definitely used to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the other thing too is like you build that part up by, doing more shows and stuff as well. Like the confidence of all that comes up. I mean, the other thing too is like people often talk about like, how like confident people when they play live music obviously have like a lot of the time have like a pretty wild like stage persona or swag or whatever you want to call it. And like, I feel like you just get that after sort of either disassociating from what you're doing and you're just actually reflecting how you feel about the music, or you just could not care less and are just like, this is what I'm doing up here.
I reckon it just comes with age as well. Like
Yeah.
you just become like, this is who I am. This
Yeah.
is what I'm doing. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But there is an element of swag.
Oh, totally.
is.
But there is swag to that. It's like, you see people who you can tell they're trying a little too hard and you're like, power to you. But I think if you just be yourself, people appreciate that a lot more.
Yeah.
I think I sit in the disassociation camp.
Yeah. I mean, people do that though.
A lot of the time I come off stage and I'm like, oh, that was a blur. And I remember it, but a lot of it I'm like, there's no timeline to it.
Yeah.
And how's it been? Like, I mean, you've been in a very regional place for a long time. Like, because how long was the band around before you left?
I was in the band for 6 months?
We put out the demo September. We played probably, maybe like 7 shows or something. And then George got this amazing opportunity.
Tell us a little bit about it.
George.
Tell the listeners what you do for work.
And talking to the microphone when you're telling people.
Yeah. Thank you. I live in remote WA in a tiny little community in the kind of edge of the Great Sandy Desert called Bungor. It's about a 17-hour drive from Perth.
That's so psycho.
Yeah.
It's so psycho that when we were talking about it the other day, like when you think about, I can't remember who was asking, but someone was like, you were like, do you know this place? And they're like, no. And then you're like, do you know this place? And they're like, no. And you're like, well, it's 10 hours from there. So 2 places you don't know, that's how far away. Sorry. But yeah, it's remote.
It's real remote. So yeah, I work in the community working with the Indigenous Rangers.
Yeah.
My official title is what is it? Ranger and Community Field Coordinator.
Okay.
So it's hard to explain in a lot of ways, but it's a lot of, I guess, environmental management, informed by, I guess, culture.
Yeah. But how did you land in that from what you were doing previously? Like, you've worked many different jobs in the time that I've known you.
Yep, too many.
In a coffee shop for quite a long time.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I guess when I was a teenager, my folks lived and worked in remote communities.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of an exposure to life out there. And then throughout my time at uni, which was a very, very long time.
Me too, brother.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I kind of, when I had the capacity to do so, like focused in on, I guess, Indigenous land management and knowledge systems.
Yeah.
And when I was doing my postgrad, I did a lot of research on firework in Northern Savannahs, Northern Territory, WA, and also within like the Victorian context, and kind of got a bit more of an idea of the contemporary work that was going on with Indigenous ranger groups surrounding fire. And that's kind of what I'm really interested in. There's a lot more to the job than just firework.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what took me up there. That's what I really wanted to engage in. And yeah, that's a big part of what I do.
Yeah.
So that's what drew me there. I've got friends who work in the field, who've done similar positions to me within the Northern Territory and WA. And a mate of mine messaged me one day and said, hey, there's this job going, really great organisation, really great ranger teams. You should apply for it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, hit them up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they flew me up a few days later to meet everyone and check that I was a good fit. And then a few days after that, they're like, hey, you want the job? I was like, all right. thought I'd make a big move.
Yeah.
And after living there for a while, did it feel odd coming back to Melbourne? And, does that feel like it's two very vastly different experiences, but is now kind of the duality of you now, right?
Yeah, look, coming back to the city is a bit fucked.
Didn't you go to New York before you came here? Which would have been even worse.
I left community, drove to town, flew straight to Perth, hopped on a plane to New York. My brother's there. He's just had a baby, so I went to go hang out with them for Christmas.
Wow.
And I hopped off the plane at JFK and jumped on the subway and just like felt like I was having a panic attack.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Like, the community that I live in, most of the year it's about 40 people.
Wow, that's unreal.
Yeah, and like five hours drive from the big town nearby, Newman. If I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah. This was the example you were giving the other day. It's like
Newman.
But so I guess the other thing too is like when you're out, doing something that remote like that. I mean, it's obviously relatively life consuming as well because you are out in this setting, focused pretty heavily on this. How does music still play a part of it for you? Like at all? Is it just listening to it or is it trying to engage?
I listen to a lot of it. I got my Spotify Wrapped and my top listened to songs were Eastern Desert Reggae, which is sick.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you this playlist.
Great, let's do it.
So this guy sends me music constantly.
Yeah.
So it's even though I do feel a bit removed.
So it's not Turn Red on repeat?
Not anymore. That might have come into the top 10. So look, I still write a lot of stuff down, still try to write lyrics because we are planning on writing and playing more music.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't really been able to engage in it in the same capacity that I did and that I would be able to if I was living here.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of listening to music, but not a huge amount of making it right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're
Just using the tools that we got at the moment.
Yeah. But so you just put out an EP as well. So that's, new thing.
And it definitely seems like a level up sound-wise. Like, it sounds great.
And the vocals too.
Yeah.
Huge. I think clearly you figured out, well, one, he gave you an informed, you should do this, then you did it.
Yeah.
But now this one, it really feels a lot like, oh, the band's come around it now. Like,
Yeah. No, Otis is the guy who recorded it. He's a fucking genius.
Yep.
Kid knows so much.
the third
about
host
music.
of this podcast.
Yeah.
That too. He's a genius. He's like the sweetest person on the planet. Just so encouraging and like seems so much older than he actually is. It's fucking scary.
Yeah.
If my kids turn out anything like him, I'll be very proud of them.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, I love that kid so much. But yeah,
Wise beyond his years.
yeah, definitely, big time. He's I don't know if he's mentioned to you guys, his old man's was a muso back in the day.
Yeah.
And like I guess just through observation of how his dad did stuff, and yeah, just I don't know, he just knows sound. Like you'd be like, oh, kind of thinking this kind of guitar tone. He's like tweaks. He's like, doesn't take much for him. He just listens. Like keep playing. Yeah, there it is. Like it's just so switched on, and he found all the tones that did stuff that I wouldn't normally do. With pedals and stuff, and I just tried to keep it as simple as possible too. I didn't want to like litter it with like solos and heaps of reverb and shit because it's hard to replicate. I think I just get more out of playing stuff that it's just you hear it on record. It's like delivered live.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously George just smashing it again. Absolutely.
So did you
killing
come
it.
here and do the vocals, or did you do them remotely?
We did
No.
it before he left.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
We've been sitting on it for a while. I recorded it in Nathan's living room.
Yeah, sick.
The
I
whole
think
thing was recorded in my living room except for drums.
Yeah, right.
I think the day before I left for WA.
Okay, cool.
So it's, a minute ago now. But
Yeah.
Just shows you don't need to record in a studio if you can't afford it, or you just want to try something different. Obviously your drums are
Hard to get around that.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely record drums in my house, and it would probably sound awesome. But like, if you want like a studio drum sounds are probably the one thing you want to sound best.
I mean, it really depends on the drummer, the drums, the room that you're in, the quality. Like, I mean, I've done 2 full-length records with Mental Cavity where the drums were done in living rooms.
Yeah.
And the 2 are like the better sounding records that I've done. So like, I mean, it just depends on who's doing it and how you're doing it and stuff,
Yeah.
But I mean, I think also, getting someone as well like Otis, who's like incredibly tapped into what's happening at the moment too, and is trying really hard to learn and to develop himself in that space as well. Like,
yeah, definitely. And he knows so much about music. It's crazy. Like, he'll just be listening to some rant. Like, I watched the podcast, the live show you did, and he just mentioned some random fucking band. And I'm like, wait, what was that? And like, looked it up. I'm like, I mean, it's, all about taste and stuff. And that band he talked about was really talented. I'm like, I'd never expect him to be like, I listen to this like a lot.
Well, it was really funny. After we finished that bit, Luca, who, did the next segment with us, who does the Triple J breakfast show.
It's the guy from Deniliquin or something. Echuca. Denny Ute Muster.
Yeah. But this is a person who is literally employed by the like youth radio space to talk about like new music every day. And Otis talking about that, he was like, I guess he'd heard about it, but didn't quite know it. And the first thing, like, Otis came up to the bar with us and we were just talking to Luca, and Luca was like, tell me more about this band. And then like Otis is like giving information to the Triple J man. And like, again, like that just shows like the intensity at which he is understanding and exploring stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and tapped into that like next thing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's quite it's a skill in its own. Because like I just find myself listening to the same things over and over again. And it takes effort to find new and interesting things. Like,
I mean,
and
the gag of our group chat that we're in is every year, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but this group chat that we have every year, at the end of the year, we send, Kelly will start a playlist, and it's everyone has to put in one song from each artist of their top 10 artists in their Spotify Wrapped or records or whatever. And the first year that we did it, I put in 10 Crowbar songs because it was just...
that's why the rules in place.
That's why the rule came in, because I basically just put in a full Crowbar record. And year on year, I think I've put in now the same Crowbar song every year. And I'm like, I'm a simple man, you see?
You're locked in.
I'm locked in. That's always going to be there, and you're going to have to listen to it. But again, to that point is that you need people like that to do that, and then showing people like me, like, hey, maybe listen to this instead of the same Crowbar song you've been listening to since you were fucking 13 years old. Idiot.
Otis has always had his finger on the pulse too. Like the that Arm Lock band.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about that band during COVID to me, or like 2021 or 2022. And now they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, man. Like, I mean, I've got kids, so I can't be fucked just sitting there looking for new music all the time. If it comes to me, I'll listen to it. But
Maybe it's like gambling.
yeah,
You know, like you only talk about the wins.
have a slap.
Like, what about the shit bands that he's backed?
I don't know. I'm beginning to think there are no shit bands. It's impossible.
Got impeccable taste.
He does.
He does.
So I guess, you know, you're obviously going to go back to the middle of nowhere very shortly.
Very shortly, yep.
And so you guys are going to try and just keep making this like an interim thing? Are you saying you're going to, you know, keep working on stuff?
Yeah.
Is it
Wrote a
just
song
going to be...
today.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Is it just going to be like shows and stuff when you're able to do that? What's kind of your leave likelihood with stuff like that?
I mean, it's hard to get away.
Yeah.
Like over the summer.
Simply because of the trek as well.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the trek itself.
And once you're there locked in, it's kind of hard just to like, gotta go.
Yeah. So like, I mean, over the summer I get a fair bit of leave because it's too fucking
too
hot,
hot,
to be up there. So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed throughout the year. Like I was just saying to the fellas earlier on that when I get back up there and start work again, I'll be doing like my 6 monthly work plan, and we'll be able to figure out when and where I can get away, because it'd be really cool to come and do some shows, maybe do a tour, and get back here, do some recording. It's difficult to get out. But
If you're on the East Coast, it'd probably be a lot easier.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So I've spoken to a couple of people I know in WA. So we're probably going to try and do what Extortion used to do and have like a lineup in WA so at least if he's in Perth and something's on or something comes up.
The Aglo model.
The Aglo model.
Yeah, exactly.
It's truly
a couple of people.
Yeah.
It's not technical music, so
No.
it's.
Honestly, when I started doing the Aglo thing, because I was like, I know I want to play shows because I only honestly really play music to play shows. That's like why I like doing it. And I was like, well, if I start this dumb band by myself, I'm going to have to, one, make it easy enough that I can play drums on the first thing, and then two, make it easy enough that I can teach people this stuff with relative ease, which has been the best part. Best part about it is that I just film videos of me playing guitar and then send it to people. And if they are even like remotely competent at playing guitar, you can play these Aglo songs pretty easy. And fortunately, everyone who said yes to doing it is not only competent, but like very good at playing music. So it's made it like very, very good. But I mean, I think, some people care a lot about doing or not doing stuff like that. But I mean, kind of at this point, being adults, that's like the only way you can do things, because I've hardly done since I exist. I don't think and even I exist is a very good example of it too. Like the first tour I exist ever did, 2 shows in, Josh, our guitar player, was like, I gotta go home. Like I can't, like my kid needs me to be home.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, we have to have another guitar player. So
I was about to say, is that why you had like 65 people?
well, I mean, like, and Kelly was with us and he was like, yeah, I'll come. I'll learn the songs. So we taught him the songs between Sydney and the Big Banana. And then we played in Brisbane. Like it was like in the van, literally like, this is how it goes. And
while eating a choc dip banana.
Exactly. And then like but then obviously I've kind of done the same thing with Aglo. I'm like, yeah, everyone's just in the band.
Yeah.
That's the band now. Yeah. Like I'm not kicking anyone out. I'll be honest with people and say like Lee, who's, played most of the shows, like I simply cannot pay for your flight when we're playing at Last Chance
on a Wednesday.
Like, but when we play this show, I can fly down.
Yeah,
so I'll do it for that one, you know? And then the same, like, Lewis, who's been playing a lot of the shows here, lovely. Then when I fly Lee down, I'm like, sit this one out. I got to fly Lee down because you did the last one kind of thing. And he, again, dealing with adults, no one gives a fuck anyway. So
It's more like a football team.
yeah.
Like a sort of soccer team. You're sort of building up best lineup.
I'm getting there. But I mean, I think Perth would be like a great place to do stuff. Obviously, you are from there as well. But like the opportunity when it came up that Aglo could go over there, and then I was like, to help out from my end, I was like, I'll find someone to play guitar in Perth so that it's only 3 plane tickets, not 4.
Yeah.
And then, everyone was keen. I actually talked to like multiple people who said they would do it.
What was the lineup in Perth?
So James from Engage and Unravel and
Nesta.
Yep.
And NDE now.
Yeah. He would. This is your call out, brother. Start learning them songs. He just said yes. I sent in the videos. He was like one of my OG I Exist heads. Like, God love him. So, and we played this I Exist cover at those 2 shows because I was like, we're headlining. I do not have enough music. I need like another song that people know. And got there. He helped us organize a jam. We jammed the day of the show. Classic Aglo styles. Get there. Braden, who plays drums, perfect. James, perfect. Me and Matt, absolutely all over the place. Forgetting it. Started drinking straight away. Immediately forgot every other riff.
Why are we here again?
Yeah. And even like the I Exist song, the one song that I've played more than any other song, I was like, and one bit I was like, oh yeah, I've played the wrong note there. But anyway. Like,
it happens.
But so I think like that's kind of the example now, I think, is like, if you find an opportunity to do that, you should do it. And in the last year, if it were not for people like James and Keldon in Brisbane and other people who just said yes to help me out, I would not have played half the cool shows I played last year.
And like the band gets the spread that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no different like obviously in Australia, we're so far from like all the major cities, and in the States, like there's so many bands out there. It's like, we've just got 3 members, and then this guy's jumping on this part of the tour, and then he's leaving when the original guitarist comes back. They're so like convoluted, but you make it work because you give a shit about it. I think these songs and this band's pretty unique.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd just like to see as much life out of it as possible.
Yeah. I think particularly it's very different from what everyone else is doing right now, I would say. Yeah. And like, that's, the thing that I like probably the most about this sort of genre or world of music is that like you get that every year. Like you get new people who are trying to do, not that you guys are new to this, but like a new version that's trying to do something different,
Yeah. Someone was asking me, can you explain this shit to me? Like, because he's like, I like Pennywise and I like Lagwagon and I didn't really like Pantera. God knows why. I like Metallica, but like I don't know, I was just like it's more about just a headspace that people are in. And I'm like, he got me to make him a playlist, and he was like, "This is sick." But then like, you know, stuff like some stuff he's like, I don't like that because of the vocals. Or
So what were the things that you targeted this band around when you were writing the songs?
pretty much just like classic New York hardcore and crossover.
Yeah.
Cro-Mags, Iceman, Leeway,
Yeah.
Crumbsuckers.
Yeah.
Like you can't hear certain bands in there, but like it's definitely like
Yeah.
where I go. Like,
Even as I think I said this to you, but as like the old
Ozzy
now,
Osbourne.
yeah, Ozzy Osbourne. But like old metal guy in me, I was like, it really reminded me of like old Anthrax and SOD when they were like coming out of, because they're from that too.
Yeah, totally.
They were like from that world, but were just like the metal guys from it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that, you know, there's I think a lot of people like to talk a lot of shit on Anthrax. That's fine, whatever. But like they have mosh parts in songs, and as two of them in
I just
SOD.
think people don't like Scott Ian's fucking facial hair. I reckon that's why they don't like the band.
Yeah, well, you know,
I mean,
he's
it's pretty sick.
fact about Scott Ian. He's married to Meatloaf's daughter,
Way.
Mr. Loaf.
May I marry your junior loaf?
Anyway, that's Anthrax facts for the day. But
Every episode.
Sorry,
we
may
have
I marry your
Anthrax
gravy? Sorry, that was really disgusting.
So I guess like, you know, in appearances will happen at shows then, I suppose, from
Absolutely.
in the interim. for
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Has anyone done the full lineup change?
Of a band?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like a franchise.
Like in hardcore or just
like-
in general?
my example of that is there was a long stretch in I Exist where I was the only one who'd played every show. Like a really, really long stretch. And then
And every instrument.
I had actually. And then I couldn't, when we did that tour in Australia with Twitching Tongues, I couldn't get out of a work thing and I had to leave. And I was driving Twitching Tongues as well, which was fantastic for the tour. I had to come home and I missed one show. So by the end of I Exist, no one had played every show. And it was like, that's basically that.
Well, I was thinking about Self-Defense Family, and I was like, I think, you know, the band is sort of Pat and
Yeah.
the vocals, but I was like, wonder if they have a release where someone else sang.
Yeah. I mean, it's a...
The whole release?
Yeah, there's one of the end of a year EPs is sung by Gal.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what band she's from, but it's quite good.
Ben facts. Self-Defense Family facts.
SDF facts.
I mean, I do think like at some point though, I mean, there's like Bad Religion Man, the Epitaph Records guy. He like never plays in the band, but he never plays shows with them, but he's
I know his name, but I went to call him Greg Bennick. It's not Greg Bennick. He should be stopped.
Brett Gurewitz. Pulled that quick by me. Greg Bennick should be stuffed. Sorry if you're listening.
I doubt he is. Mid-spoken word. His ears are burning.
You know, sometimes it's basically not funny stand-up. So I guess other than NDE, you got 48 irons in the fire
Where's
right
this
now.
going? Yeah, I do.
What else you got going on at the minute?
Trying to write we're in the process of doing New Disdain, which should come together quite quickly.
Yeah.
We want to try and do as much as I can with that. Best Believe's doing an LP.
Yeah. And you're singing.
Yeah, sadly for everybody's ears.
No,
I like
good.
it.
Yeah.
That demo is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And at the show, whichever show it was that I saw you play at, when Duck was there, Duck was watching you guys, and
That was at the Burgie.
at the burger, yeah.
with no apologies.
Oh yeah.
Where you were supposed to get caked and you
And I
didn't get caked.
didn't
and it was
get
my
caked.
friend that got caked instead.
Was it?
Oh, really?
You know that person?
Yeah.
What's their name? Sorry that you copped the cake. That wasn't really a cake. It was a tray of Lamingtons.
He was laughing about it. Don't worry.
The video was good.
Yeah.
That Duck got of it just missing me. Because I like fully was like, "Ugh." But anyway, at that show, when you guys were playing, Duck came up to me, Boomer Duck, and was like, this is good. Punk band. And I was like, yep, okay. She was like, I like this. And then walked off.
Walked outside. Fair enough. I'd walk
Siggy's a calling, mate. You got to smoke him somewhere. No, but I think, yeah, that's a different thing for you too.
Yeah, no, it's something different. I don't know. I feel much more vulnerable. I know that sounds kind of weird, but
No, but
can't really hide behind distortion. And
yeah.
played 4 shows, I think. And
The Fleshwater show was great
that was
too.
awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess that was kind of like a more of a mallcore kind of audience of goth kids and emo kids. And
They've really like popped off on TikTok or something. Like it's like not alts. It's like
Normal people.
normal people.
yeah.
Deftones fans.
Yeah.
Because they kind of sound like the Deftones and are
Yeah.
touring with the Deftones. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the last time, our first show with High Vis was there, and I could see the floor, and like it was early. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's hard to get in and whatever, and I could see the floor. But this show, it was just like packed. Everyone had moved right in.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the floor. People were like seeing. I don't know whether they just wanted a good spot for the next bands or not, but like
Hey,
it felt good just to
You'll take that.
Yeah, but like even just that many bodies in front of
Yeah.
the stage actually makes the sound seem better. Whereas if no one's in there, it's especially like a big venue like that, it's the sound kind of just sounds really thin and yeah, it sucks when, I mean, I'm grateful to be able to play shows like that, but yeah, just when it was really good to play that one and felt validating. So it's good.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
And aside from going back and working hard, do you get much opportunity to get to Perth when you're over there?
It's kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Brutal.
Like, I think I got down there in March of
Yeah.
last year, and then.
I suppose given how far a trek it is, it's
Yeah.
like coming here at a certain point.
Yeah, exactly. And then like until like August, I didn't really get out.
Yeah.
I mean, I go, in between community and town
Yeah.
because there's work in town as well. But to get out to Perth, last year, no, not really at
Yeah.
all.
I mean, the only thing for me with that is that like right now, and I'm telling anyone who'll listen to this, is that like Perth to me feels like the next place you should play music in Australia right now. Like it's like either here, Perth or Brisbane. That being said, everywhere is going very well, but
Adelaide is on fire. At the
it is
moment.
too.
It was fucking pumping in December.
Yeah.
That was a really good show. It was one of the best shows I've played in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, when Extortion played there late-ish last year too, and it was rad. I mean,
Feels like it maybe the second half of last year it's kind of ramped up a bit.
Oh, in Brisbane.
yeah.
Brisbane's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Newcastle too. There's a lot of life.
Yeah.
A lot of younger kids.
Yeah, and if it definitely feels like very odd being older now, doing this and being like, oh, this is like we've come around again.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
Have
a
you-
number of times now, though.
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen like what's happening on the Sunshine Coast at the moment?
Yeah.
I don't know what the venue's called, but that
I played there.
did you play
sick
that?
as.
That
Yep.
fucking joint looks awesome.
Yeah.
And like just so many young kids, and they're all just going nuts.
Yeah. The first band that played the show, I blanking on their name now, but it was
Was it a 3-piece?
no, it was a younger man and a younger lady. He was playing guitar and they had a laptop doing drums and bass and other guitar, and she was singing, and it was like brutal fucking gore grind shit, and they had psycho death metal shirts and stuff, and I was like, I have not seen or heard music like this since I was like in high school when everyone was trying to like out brutal each other.
Agoraphobic nosebleed.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
That's
yeah,
cool.
But even like more niche.
Yeah.
And it like
Well, coming
every
from
song.
Sunshine Coast, it's way more.
Yeah, exactly. And like it had psycho breakdowns, and there was like 12-year-olds pitting, and I was like, "This is it right here."
That's sick.
And I think Matt, who is from there, he was watching it just like, "Holy shit! Like, what is happening in this place?"
Well, I guess it gets big enough for those kind of like smaller rural scenes to start. Like when we were talking to Luca about it, he's from Echuca. It was like for a few years there, Echuca did have a small scene.
Yeah.
Whereas it's taken a while for that to come back. It's like it needs to be big enough for that to happen.
Well, when I was in the States, the Iron Lung guys were saying that I think the first time Iron Lung came here, they played in Albury, and they were like one of the best shows on the tour.
Yeah, there's a death metal scene there.
Yeah.
Like our Inborn Free, Mitch and his brother Tom and Lewis. I'm not sure about Lewis being into that kind of music, but Mitch and Tom definitely are. And they were like, yeah, man, like there's just like fucking heaps of metal bands just getting around. And like, yeah, just it must be just like a country thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely talked about this before, but like one of the first shows they played interstate, it was in Wagga, and
my dad was born there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Played in Wagga, and it was like some metal band, my death metal band that I was in, and then a Guns N' Roses cover band.
Fuck yeah.
And it was like packed. And I'm pretty sure there was like 300 people there. And I thought like, well, this is live music.
I think these people are just starved to see music.
Absolutely.
Like, and
we ended up going back to a party at someone's house, and just the whole show was there basically. I was like, again, at like 15 or whatever, like, well, I guess every show from now on is going to be packed, and you're going to go to a party afterwards.
Fuck yeah.
Then I learned very quickly that is not the case. Not the case at all.
Everyone has to go to work.
Yeah.
There's a band from where I grew up. So I'm from Tweed Heads. There's a couple of kids. I think the drummer and maybe the bass player in this band are from there. And then the younger dude in that band who plays guitar is from Yamba, which is like 3 hours south or 2 hours south. And they're a 3-piece called Scram. And I saw these like live videos of them, and like these kids are fucking killing it. Like, I'll have to send you a video of it. It's like really impressive to see young kids. I don't have any music out.
Yeah.
Kids doing like fucking, he obviously sits in his room and does punk jumps and shit. But like, I mean, we all did,
That's
right?
fine, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just like so impressed. And I'm like, I hope like where I'm from, there's no music scene that's like booming. Like there is like a small scene and there's people that are still doing it, but they all either go to Brisbane or Sunny Coast. But yeah, it would be sick if that generates more people.
I think, and I mean, even the Newcastle guys doing so many shows there. Like Aglo played this thing there with Phantoms and Mauler and stuff, and it was fucking awesome. And it was like, again, there was a couple old people who I know from Newcastle came to the show, but like by and large, it was people way younger than me. And, I think it helps too that like the Than2 guys go and do shows wherever they can, and they are all young as well, and they're lifting everyone up with them too.
Yeah, that band's awesome.
Yeah, they're
great band to watch, and like just good vibes and good ethics. Like you can tell they just give a shit about putting camera back up on the map.
Yeah, I mean, and in like even them recently like playing that speed show in Sydney with Extortion, like it was, I think some people probably thought it was weird that Extortion were playing that show, and I think that's kind of why we wanted to do it, because it was a cool thing to do, and we had a great time, and I think it worked out awesome for the show, because the show was like a crazy mix bill. Like every band was a very different version of what is happening right now, and
well, that's like we've been talking about Perth before.
Yeah,
that is what Perth feels like. It's very mixed in a good way.
It
feels like the scene is very cohesive against the more crusty stuff and the more like polished stuff, and the shows feel very, it's just unique. Like I feel like Brisbane's got the real heavy thing. Everywhere's kind of got its own slight style now, which is great. Like it's
And Perth has always, for me at least, I kind of felt like that growing up it'd be like shows at 208 with Extortion
Yeah.
miles away from the ruins, and then like a crusty band.
Yeah.
And it was never quite one thing that needed to be followed, and everyone just kind of came together and
Yeah.
just did.
Well, and I think like, again, in now playing in a band that is, essentially from Perth, like every time I've gone back, well, the 2 times I've played over there with them, it's been very sick how mixed it is. But then even doing the Aglo thing, like that weekend we were there, Rowan was just there to see his family that weekend. So Rowan was at both the shows as well. So I was like, well, every time I've gone recently, I've been with Rowan. And even at those, Rowan was like, oh, this is another example of how, like, those shows, I think when Kyle started doing it, was more of like a collection of the crustier side of that stuff. And then just by way of how everything's developing there, it's now kind of like, well, everything that he likes, and he likes everything. Yeah. So that's what the shows are. And everyone was there. Like everyone. And again, I think the big thing that me and Matt were both saying, and Solo was there too, we were talking about it, like it's very rare, I think, in big cities that you would see a 2-day thing happen where it's 2 sets of shows that have similar styled bands in similar sized venues just on a Friday and a Saturday, and basically everyone was at both. The only people who weren't at both realistically were like people with kids. They were like, I cannot go 2 nights. Like Nick from miles away was like, Friday night's date night, brother. I can't come to both of them. I'll see you tomorrow. But I think the reality though is like, I think the space that we're in right now is such a good space for even like a band like you guys are doing, that it can be a bit weirder. Maybe it's slightly different from what people are otherwise doing, but it can fit on these shows. Like,
can literally play with anyone and it not be weird.
Yeah.
Could go to Perth and play like a full cross-bunk show because it stems from that sound, but then we could go and play with a fucking beatdown band and like the beatdown people will get the breakdowns and stuff in it. Like it
feels like a sign of like a healthy scene in most places that
absolutely
people are up for the point of difference kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think just like doing, I get the most excited, particularly like with the Aglo stuff. Like I love when bands I like want me to play with them. And more than anything, playing shows here now for me is just like, am I like friends with them or I want to hang out with them? Great, then I'm playing. Like I couldn't really give a shit if it sounds the same or not. Like, and I think the cool thing right now that seems is that like everyone's kind of on that same vibe. Is that like everyone's just trying to help one another. Everyone's trying to lift everybody up, and then as a result, shows go really well.
Yep. People got to get gear, but
here he is.
But it's gotten better, I will say.
What do you got to tell the people, mate?
There's plenty of cheap guitar cabs right now on Facebook Marketplace. Please buy them before I fucking buy them. Excuse my French.
Is that your plug?
I've got 5 of them sitting at my house right now. 5. Someone buy 2 of them, please. Now, I need the space.
So hit up Nathan for guitar cabs if anyone's keen. He'll probably bring them to you at this point.
Yeah, I will.
So, all right. Oh, the other thing that I just want to bring up because it's funny is when you posted those photos yesterday, and I had no idea that Mike played guitar for you at that show.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh, he's just hanging, cool. And I was like, I felt like I was hanging with him the whole night. And then I saw this photo, I was like, oh, he was playing.
Yeah, Mike was not stage potatoing the other night at the show. He was actually playing guitar a lot better than me, and he's in the band now. So
nice.
Welcome, Mike from AWOL.
Yeah.
Right.
Near death experience.
It was where I was standing. I could only see you two.
It's not exactly.
Like, well, that's the band to me.
It's not exactly the easiest venue to see beyond. Like, yeah, if you're in that corner on the bar side, you kind of only see one side of the stage.
Yeah. Well, fellas, thanks for coming and doing the podcast.
No worries.
Appreciate it. Geo, good luck over there, mate. See you this time next year.
See you then, mate.
I'll be back.
I'm going to miss you.
See you, man.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.